Hello, this is Adam from Scan Pro Audio, and today we've got a little treat for you because we're going to show you something a little bit different. This is the Roland V-STAGE, and to present with me today I have a special guest. It's Andy from Roland.
Hello, how are you doing? Very good.
So let's, for the benefit of everybody at home, what is a V-STAGE? I know you know what it is and I know what it is, but what is it to everybody at home?
Yeah, so V-STAGE is a professional performance keyboard, but it's designed for the player that mostly focuses on sort of the classic sets of sounds. So, we do products like the Roland Phantom, which has all of the different kind of instrument sounds and everything like that. But we're also aware that there's a lot of customers who just perform with things like acoustic piano, electric piano, organ, some synths, some sampled tones. And they also like a lot of immediacy, so there's a lot of players out there who they want to grab the controls and tweak things in real time and get their sound quickly. And this is what V-STAGE is aimed at, really.
And just one reason why I really wanted to do this video with yourself and to bring it to everybody who follows our channel is that I've noticed that there's a lot of people now that have got their keyboard arranger, whatever you want to call it. They've got a Genos or they've got a Korg PA5X, but they want something else to go along with it.
Right.
And a lot of people at home will remember the great Roland arrangers of the past. And what I love about this is it's almost like an extra set of a bank of amazing sounds to put with whatever you've already got.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's why when I got my hands on a V-STAGE, I thought, wow, this is great that you could use this along with what you've already got.
Yeah, completely.
And obviously, whether that be another arranger or whether that be a module, a Ketra module, because this has got full Midi capabilities and some great features that we can talk about maybe later on. But you mentioned about where we can zone out part. Also, we'll come to that in a minute. That is the reason why I wanted to show everybody at home this amazing V-STAGE. So it comes in different flavors, different sizes.
Yes. So there are two. This is the 88 key model, which has a 88 key weighted hammer piano action, but we also do a 76 keyboard which has a waterfall action.
Nice. Yeah.
So if you're predominantly an organ player, you might prefer that playing surface. Although on the weighted option, so we've deliberately chosen an action that is suitable for all the sound engines. So if you played a real acoustic piano, it has a very specific feel, but then if you play an electric piano, that'll feel a bit different. An organ will feel different similarly as well. So we've chosen something that's good for that. And if you are using the organ section in particular, actually, it has quite a high trigger point. So if you're doing, glissando rolls and things like that, you're not going to sort of break your hand as you're going through the weighted keys.
And that's great. So it's well made and well crafted for that. And obviously, it's got an amazing quality as well. A lot of us are used to, obviously at Scan, we're distributing Ketron, of course, and obviously we're selling Korg. We're used to sort of Italian craftsmanship, metal, steel, wood. You've got a great product with the Roland V-STAGE.
Exactly, yeah. Great quality hardware designed for the stage, really, but also great at home. And the other thing is very easy to get to grips with. So if we're looking at the front panel, initially I can understand it can be a bit off-putting because there's lots of controls, but actually it's very easy to understand. So we've got each section is segmented. So we have an acoustic piano section, an electric piano section, a synthesizer. Over here we've got an organ section. And actually to access the sounds, we have an on-off switch in each one. So if I've turned them all off,
you've got nothing. Yeah.
And if I turn on my piano, and then we have the piano sound built into it here. And likewise, if I wanted my electric piano, I have these kind of here, and you can quickly access those. And if I wanted to blend sounds together, it's very easy as well. If you want to create a layer, so if I wanted acoustic piano and strings, it's quite a popular combination.
Yeah.
So turn on my acoustic piano, and then similarly go over to my synthesizer section, which is where we call it synthesizer, but it's also
everything else.
Exactly.
The everything else section.
Yeah. So I have strings here, and I can just. In fact,
Yeah.
actually, we've got a pad.
It's all right. No,
earlier
so,
on.
but you can see there.
Yeah.
So, but this is when we can now dive in, I guess, is a
Yeah.
good example to show how we can dive in. But you've got strings and pad. These are your volumes. So it's really easy to blend between the two.
Yeah.
So say, for example, we wanted to change that pad to strings.
Yeah.
What do we do?
So we just go, just so we're only listening to this, I'm just going to turn off the acoustic piano for a section. But we've got here a tone select dial, which goes through our favorite sounds. I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But if I want to see the full list of what we've got capable, I push the tone dial in.
Push list, there it is.
And on the screen here, we've got our main category of sounds. So we've got strings, pads, leads, and basses, and so on. And then some subcategories, and then also the sort of main tone list. So if I go over to, say, strings, and I can go and, let's say, have ensemble strings, and this one here, full strings. This is quite a nice. Or we could say have slow pop strings. That's quite a nice one. And then bring in my acoustic piano, and now.
And of course, you can just blend it between the two. However you want to do it.
And blend the two sounds together, which is really nice. Similarly, though, if we wanted to, this is talking about layering, but if I wanted to make a split, again, you can see on the front here, we've tried to keep this as easy as possible. So we've got.
See, I like this. You
controls for
showed me
splits.
this before, and it's really, really good because you can actually instantly throw a sound to your left hand or instantly throw a sound to your right hand. And if I remember rightly, it defaults at C.
Yep.
But you can, of course, set that wherever you want it to be.
Yeah. So.
So how are you going to split it then? What are you thinking?
So say if we just wanted to put our our strings in the left hand, we just press left.
Yeah.
And then say piano, we just press right, and now I have strings down here and I have piano up here.
So if you and again, if I switch the acoustic piano to left, so when you're in split, it has to be left and right.
Yes,
Got you.
Yes, yeah.
So you couldn't have a piano all the way down and just piano and strings at the bottom.
You can do, yeah. So if you, so I'm just going to reset the split point,
Of course,
shift and this. So now we've got everything sort of full range. So actually, like if you don't have to have that, I could just have piano in the bass, yeah, and the piano is go in full range. In fact, when we press split point, you can see on the screen here.
Yeah, great.
You can change the split point by just holding split and pressing the key, and you can see it's jumping around.
Yeah.
And this is doing it for everything.
Of course.
But if I say just wanted to change the split point for just the electric piano, I do split point and press the on-off key. Now it's just going to do it for electric piano, and let's say have this A down here. And now if I have this just in the right, you can see now, so we've got acoustic piano all the way across.
Really, with that, you can really clearly see where you've got these different things. Great feature. And the other thing is as well, we've mentioned briefly, I've got acoustic piano. Maybe we can look at it more in depth in that. What I wanted to do with this video, for the first video, shall we say, is give an overview of what a V-Stage is. And then, like many of our videos that you'll see on our channel, we have playlists. So what we'll do is we'll have a little V-stage play. That's hard to say first thing in the morning. V-Stage playlist. So you can we can go more in depth maybe at these different sections, and you can hear some of the sounds and all that kind of thing. But obviously we've got acoustic piano, we've got synthesizer, we've got a beautiful electric piano area as well. But of course we've got organ as well with drawbars, which is really good. And you mentioned before about splits, and as we know, with an organ or what used to be an organ back in the day, you'd not only have two splits, because you'd have three, because you'd have your feet as well. So can we do that on the stage?
So in the organ section, you can see on the front here, we've got upper, lower, and pedal. So each one has its own drawbar control. So if I'm just say adjusting for my upper, and then if you go to lower, you see I've immediately got a different setting, so I can have different settings.
The other thing as well, each one of those are what they call the harmonic bar part. That's hard for me as well, coming from Blackburn. Harmonic bar part, you've got upper, lower, and pedal. It also broadcasts, I guess, in MIDI channel 1, 2, and 3. So that means if you've got a set of pedals Also available from Scan. We've got many different types of electronic bass pedals that you can buy, controlled via MIDI. You could actually MIDI it into and use it for actual using it and playing it as an organ, which is great as well. So yeah, I like that. That's
So if you a couple of options actually on that I should have mentioned as well. So if you see on the back here, we've got external device inputs of USB. So if you've just got a USB keyboard that you want to plug in, you could do that as well. So if you wanted a bit of a dual manual setup, you could say use this as your say upper part or lower part, and then you could have a USB keyboard plugged in on the top, and then have that.
Amazing, because many of keyboards now, whether it be just a standard sort of controller keyboard that you can buy, all available through Scan, or of course if you've got a Korg PA5X or a Genos or a Ketron or whatever it is that you've got at home, you could use that and connect it in the back. Add a set of pedals if you want to, and away you go. Love that.
Yeah, completely. Great. And for the organ section, so we've got four main types of organ. So a virtual tone wheel organ, 2 types of transistor organs, and also a pipe organ for sort of church tones. And similarly, as we were looking with the tone select dial for that, you have one in each of the sections. So if I choose the one in organ in here, so for our tone wheel one, we've got 4 different types of sort of tone wheel organ, so 2 different types of vintage and ones that we call solid and clean, and each one of these has got different drawbar settings, which are just suggested presets. But what's quite nice is I mentioned earlier on that when you're selecting on here, this is what we call our favorites. So for instance, if you always have a particular kind of setting that you like going to, you can find, say this is one of my favorites.
So you like that one.
Shift and select gives
there
it
you go. Becomes a favorite. So each different part not only has preset categories, upright piano, grand piano, I'd imagine, electric piano, time, reed, digital, synthesizer, strings, pad, lead, you get the idea. But then you've also got favorites. So in each category, you can select your favourite sounds. And I guess while we're on favourite sounds, what are some of your favourite sounds?
So a few different things. So I'm sort of quite a fan of some of the more sort of introspective sounds, let's say, I think. So this one, which is called Gentle Iceland. So this is using the felt upright piano, but it's also layered with a Jupiter 8 style string sound. And also this tuned noise tone. So bit early in the morning for my playing.
It's a great sound.
Yeah, and it has this sort of tuned kind of like noise kind of thing.
Like a wind type sound.
Yeah.
Now, you said before as well, now something that a lot of people at home will probably be used to. I'll explain first and then you'll know what I mean. So a lot of us at home, if we're using an arranger, so we select, I don't know, we're on a Yamaha Genos 2 and we pick a style and we press a one-touch setting. I've done many videos talking about how it will not only, so we pick a style, press one-touch setting 1 and it selects a piano in upper 1, We know that it also selects sounds in upper 2 and 3, but they're just not active, and you can active. So when Yamaha create a preset, they also create sounds that aren't active that you can access at any time. This has a similar thing,
Yeah, similar thing. So you can see it says scene on here. So when we say a scene, we just mean almost like a snapshot of the whole panel. So if I cycle through the scenes, let's say this is another one of my favorites, which is this synthesizer.
It's a Roland sound, isn't it?
And is selecting all of the different tones. But as you can see, so the ones that are lit up are the sounds I have active. But as I go through, you can see they're all changing. And the idea being is that as well as...
So they're just not switched on. Got you.
And each of the scenes has been deliberately curated in a way so that it has, as you say, like other tones that are selected that they think will be complementary. So say this one, which is a sort of 79 EP with some delay. If I bring in the acoustic piano, it should be... one that they think will work with it.
Work
Nicely with
great.
it.
So that's a key feature, really, I think. So you're not just getting these preset tones when you're going through your scenes, which is your sort of, I guess, what is a scene? Yeah,
So-
'cause it's a term that probably a lot of people at home won't understand or won't know what it means, or they've never heard it called a scene before.
Yeah.
So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah,
to talk
exactly.
about.
Well, a scene is really what I'd say is just, as I say, kind of is a snapshot of the whole panel.
Yeah.
So if I go to what we call an initialized scene, which is a blank one, so we haven't got anything programmed.
So when you switch it on, if you turn this knob, it will scroll through all the scenes. So it won't necessarily go through all the pianos and then all the strings and then all the organ. It will literally go, oh, here's a nice piano, next sound, here's some strings. It kind of jumbles them all up and just gives you an overview of what the V-Stage is. Yeah, so that is, like you're saying, with a scene, it will, so if you select, you've got here, initial scene.
Yep.
So that's just given us a...
So if we wanted to build, so we were talking earlier on, say, about sort of like an Elton John style piano.
Okay, yeah.
So we've got this, our main kind of grand piano sound.
Yeah.
In our synth section, if I go to tone select on here, we've got some additional keyboard sounds. So I could find, say, one, I think it's called Rocker Piano somewhere, which is quite...
And this, again, there's so many sounds in here as well. I was under the impression that you'd have a few pianos, you'd have a few organs. It's great for stage. That's kind of what it is. It's called the V-Stage. It's really only for live. But looking at it, there's loads in there. And obviously, this kind of V-Stage kind of genre now has been out for some time. Me normally as an arranger player, when I was at Korg, I was put off by products like a Kronos at the time, because it's a workstation and I just wanted sounds that I can just play. Do you know what I mean? And obviously they did the Grand Stage, and of course Nord have a similar thing. But this is great now, because I always have loved the Roland sounds and the Roland sound set, but maybe a Phantom isn't for me.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Whereas this, I think it would really be for me.
Yeah,
so it's a great product.
Easy to get to grips with. You just want sound. So here I've got this like a JD piano, something like that.
Classic.
The JD 800.
Yeah.
Now if we layer that with our other acoustic piano, we've got a bit more kind of power to it. And let's say, for instance, that could be our scene, and then if I can always write it and I can save it, give it a name if
you wanted to.
But all of our preset scenes are they're kind of curated deliberately to be good to go for live performance.
Yeah.
So particularly as well, if you're playing with other sounds or other musicians, so as you say, if you're combining it with another product, I think this is quite nice. So for instance, one of the controls on the acoustic piano sections, we've got this thing called brightness, where you can, if you're just playing and you want something a bit brighter, I can just grab that and tweak it.
Yeah, it also allows you to cut through it. If you're playing and you're just doing some background piano, maybe with a band or whatever, and you just want to not necessarily increase the volume, but just cut through a bit more.
Yeah,
that's a great feature to have with it.
Absolutely, and it also sort of like tightens up the very low end a little bit as well.
Right. Okay.
So we did actually did an event a few weeks ago, and with the V-Stage in sort of a small venue, and just plugged in straight out of the box. It sounds great because it's kind of been done for that live environment. But then if you're just playing at home and you're just, say, doing some solo stuff, you can always say you might want to knock down the brightness a little bit, and that'll give it a little bit more low end, and a little bit sort of control the highs a little bit, which might be for for sort of solo piano playing. But then if you're playing stuff with, as you say, if you're playing along with a style or something like that, you might want to make it a little bit brighter so that you're cutting through a little bit more.
That's great. And just going back to, we talk about scenes and the sounds that aren't active. That particular one, which is preset number 1, AA1, Overture and Piano. We've got a piano there, which is a lovely piano. But then if we bring in the synthesizer section, you've got a nice pad.
Yeah.
So that would be a perfect thing to layer, of course, with a piano. Electric piano. Again, it's quite a nice one, which again would layer well with a piano, or if you wanted to switch the piano off instead of the piano, and then I'm guessing you'd have a nice organ in there as well. So switch that on. So again, yeah, it's great.
Easy to get to sort of fly around. Really.
Now, the other thing is as well, so we've talked about sounds and we've talked about favoriting sounds and having them in our little favorite lists. So that, just to recap that, once you save a favorite sound, say for example, we're in synthesizer and we bring up the list, you can see now we've got category on the left, which is obviously all the sounds via category. Then we've got subcategories. So if we're in strings as an example, it then splits those strings down into subcategories, which would be ensemble strings, orchestral and solo, or any favourites that you've got. So you can see we've got one favourite string, which is decay string. Yeah, so we've talked about that. So then once we've got these scenes, there's another feature that you mentioned to me earlier, and that is the chain feature.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great feature, which a lot of people at home will remember this from the old sort of organ days. So if we think of a scene as a keyboard set, if you're a Korg player, or if you're thinking of it as a registration, if you're a Yamaha player, obviously with no styles because there's no styles on it. So think of it as a like I say, a registration or a keyboard set. It's a scene on this product. Now, if you think about back in the day when you'd play the organ, you'd set up your favourite sounds. You might have a string set for your organ, strings on top, strings on bottom, and a nice acoustic bass or something on your pedal. And you press memory and you'd save that into one of the pistons in between the two manuals on your organ. And you'd do that, 16 times on your organ. But then when you were doing a concert, you'd then have to remember what was in all those 16. So then what you could do is you could say, right, well, on my concert piece, I start on strings, which is number 1. And then you'd register number 1. And then you jump to number 5, which is a full brass. And I want that next. And you'd set them up in a chain, yeah? So you'd jump 1 to 5 to 7 to 2 to 3, back to 1 again, up to 5. And then you'd use your foot switch to kick through, and it would literally jump to the right registration. Yeah? Are you with me? Yeah. This does exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's called chain.
Yeah.
Great feature.
So yeah, as you say, exactly that. Scene chain function. So if I press chain on here, let's make one. So this allows you to put your patches, your scenes, in the order that you're going to use them. So if I press enter to edit and edit my first step on here, and I literally just cycle through,
find which one you want.
So let's say we want to start, say, on this dyno EP, and then I want to have this organ, and let's just choose.
It's that easy.
Let's just choose a few random ones here. And so this is kind of done now. So we go back and I can now cycle through my sound. So if I've got my first
can't
thing.
remember what you've selected here.
I know, exactly.
So you don't know what's going on. But again, it's exactly the same. We're all familiar with that. And it's now great to see that, which is really an old thing, is now brought back and center stage on the V-Stage. No pun intended. Yeah, it's a great feature. I like that.
A nice thing we were talking about earlier on, though, is the scene remain. So as I say I'm on my first sound, I can then go and choose my next sound.
Yeah.
Keep going through, you can it's still ringing out, and then I can still play.
So we know that
we'll go in.
home, obviously, if you're fortunate enough to own a Korg PA5X, is a smooth sound transition. This seems to be a real big thing at the moment, where if you're pressing, as you just rightly said then, if you're holding down a sound, you can hear that sound, and if I then change the sound, that sound is still there. And I can check and change any sound and it will remain there. Smooth sound transition is now on V-Stage. It's a great feature.
And it's available on all of the sounds. So actually, if anyone has played any close attention to Roland products in the past, because the V-Piano technology being very processor intensive, actually sound remain is something that we've not been able to have on V-Piano before. So this is the first product that has that in. So there we go.
That is a really good thing. Anything else?
We also with it on the scene function as well. We also talked about EX scene. So these are again we've got the presets that you're going through and we can organize them in the chain, but also sometimes sometimes we just like to have a play and find out what we're make sounds on the fly, and the EX scene mode. So if I go shift and scene select, I've now got 8 scenes at the bottom here, which are just constantly live saving. So, for instance, it could just be a thing that you're, playing around and you sort of like what you've got going on, and then you have it move on to a next sound and you tweak something on here. You want to go back and it's exactly how it is. Or say if you're, you're just in the middle of having a bit of a jam and you kind of really like what's going on, but you don't want to sort of leave the moment and kind of do things. Yeah. It just saves what you're doing. And then even if you turn off the power and turn it back on, it remembers.
It's a clever thing, that. And I think more instruments should adopt that kind of thing, because we all do it. We're all guilty of it. We've all set something up in the past. You might, like you say, you might be in the moment playing with friends or playing in a band or whatever, or it might be just late at night, and then you get up the next day and you want to carry on going back to where you were, but you can't remember. You think before you, right, I had that sound and that sound, I'll remember that. And then the next day you can't remember. We've all done it. And it's great. So it constantly says, so how, if I'm playing then, so if I've got a piano running, or no, that's a bad example, an organ running, and I have my drawbars in a particular configuration, how do I do it? What does it do?
Oh, so on here. Do you mean in this mode?
Yeah. So I'm gigging now. I've got my organ on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if it just does.
So if you go to any of the other ones, so say number 3, let's say, you can set this to be at whatever you like. So say this could even be another organ with different settings.
So what you're saying is you don't have to save it. So if I'm on that and I edit it and then move, it's remembered what I've just done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
And like I say, even if you then turn off the power and turn it back on, it'll
so there's no must remember to save. Do this, it just does it. So you've basically got 8 presets there to mess about with.
Yeah.
And it constantly will evolve and change. And
if you find something that you really like and you think like, oh, actually, I want to just keep that for general, you can then save that as a regular scene. So you've always got it then.
Yeah, got it.
And you can even, actually, if you are doing a performance or something, you can even import your favourite scenes into this as like a starting point.
Right.
That if you think, oh, actually, I'll probably use that at this gig. And then you get there and you find you're tweaking the EQ or whatever. It's
like that.
It'll remember it. So
and just one other thing, because obviously we'll do a few of these videos. We'll let you listen to a few sounds. We'll both have a play and we'll dive in and you can hear these, and we'll put these into the V-Stage playlist. But one other thing that you mentioned earlier is if we just look at the synthesizer section for a moment. So if I just switch this off and then switch that on. See, I'm getting used to this now, and you switch it on. You said before that you've got some expansion sounds that you get for free when you buy the V-Stage.
Absolutely, yeah. So
we talk about that.
Yeah, it comes with 500 preset tones of, and the synthesizer section is using Roland's Zencore technology.
Okay.
So for starters, if you want to get additional tones for this on Roland Cloud, we've got over 150 different sound packs that you can buy for different things.
So that's really good to know. So let's just mention that again. So if you buy this product and you want to add extra sounds to this, what do we do?
Through Roland Cloud, we have a little store on there. So we've got over 150 different sound packs of different genres where you can buy packs of sounds and load them in.
Wonderful.
But for free, which is really good because we like free.
And you get nothing for free these days. Absolutely.
Is if I go over to expansion on here. So when you buy your V-Stage and register it on Roland Cloud, you get for free the Jupiter 8, Juno 106, JX8P, and SH101 synthesizers.
4 synths for free. 4 synths for free. That's another one.
These are some of Roland's most famous synthesizers, and you get a whole slew of presets with all of them, but also a lot of the original tones that shipped with them. So I really like this.
You mentioned before, anything that's in a capital letter.
Yeah, is an original preset.
An original preset from the original synth. Anything that is not capital letters, it's using that same sound source, but they've created new presets.
So we can get things like the Juno 106 brass. That kind of nice classic tone. Another one that I really like is for the JX8P that had a preset called Soundtrack, which is just a really sort of warm octave up.
Yeah, it's a great sound.
This is really nice when, I suppose, like when you layer it with different tones, and then we can tweak the sort of cut off. It's nice, kind of warm kind of tones.
You know, going back to what we talked about earlier, I've always been interested, or as a keyboard player and not a synth player, I've always been jealous, is that, if that's the right word, of products like Jupiter 8, Juno 106 and so on and so on, because they're amazing sounds, but it's just too much messing around.
Fair enough.
But now you've got this in a really palatable, easy way, easy format to use. Great.
And it gives you so this is perhaps a little different where we have products like the Phantom. So if you are really into the deep synth editing, I would say maybe for synthesizer stuff,
of course,
look at the Phantom a little bit. But what's really nice for the V-Stage is we do have some editing controls over here. So we've got control over the cutoff from the filter, also resonance with a shift control, and also attack and release as well. So you can have, those are the most important tweakable controls. You've just got a bit of adjustment with the sound to make it fit with what you're doing.
But they are the controls that you would probably want if you wanted to add motion or movement or whilst playing live. So if you wanted more deep editing stuff, you probably wouldn't look at this product anyway. Like you mentioned, you'd look at a Phantom. So it's got the things, the controls that you need, which is the important thing.
Exactly. And I think with a product like this, we talk really, I suppose, about for a lot of the users, it is, the organ, the acoustic piano, the electric piano are the most important tones. And then the synthesizer role is playing a really important, just supporting role of layering and adding those extra textures and things. And that's what's great about the synth section on this, is it's 500 plus really great presets that work, that you can just sort of slot in with what,
like we mentioned. Well, I mentioned before, you've got organ, acoustic piano, electric piano, and everything else. And it just happens to be called synthesis.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's great. And then obviously on the back we've got you can have 4 pedals, is that right?
Yeah, 4 pedal inputs.
4 pedals, that's
so you can have expression pedal inputs, or they could be volume pedals or control pedals. So the chain function we talked about before, if you want to do that with a pedal.
Roll through with a pedal,
do that.
Right?
Yeah. We've got 5-pin MIDI in, but 2 MIDI outs. So you can use this to control other equipment. Maybe we should mention about that a little bit. We talked about before. Each of the sections, we've got a couple of different options. If so, when it's turned on in the red function, we're sort of triggering the sound from the V-Stage, but it's also sending that same thing out on a MIDI channel. If I hold Shift and press the on/off button on here, so it goes yellow. So now this is only going to be sending, this is only going to be controlling this and not sending out MIDI.
Got you.
If I press it a third time, I think when it's blue, so now this is not making any sound, but we're sending MIDI out.
In theory, what we should be able to do, because people have often asked me, one of our biggest selling products at the moment is a brand new product from Ketron, and it's called an EVM.
Okay.
And basically what that is, it's basically a £4,000 arranger workstation. It's a great product, but it's in a tiny module.
Okay.
And you control it through an iPad wirelessly, or you can connect through a touchscreen.
Okay.
And a lot of people have asked me what is a great product to put with that. And obviously a controller keyboard or whatever. But what you could in effect do is you could actually connect your EVM to this. And so, say for example, the electric piano section, whenever you switch that on, it would then control what you're hearing is your EVM, because it's in the blue mode, If you switch on your synthesizer, you're then hearing the string sound or whatever synthesizer sound you've selected in here, along with your EVM. You've then got a piano that you can then bring in along with your EVM. And that can be, you can switch that shift and go to blue on any zone. So that's a really, really important feature. It's a great product to have alongside an EVM. So for those people that have said, what should I buy with an EVM, then this, because obviously if you then bought this and an EVM, you're probably around the same price of what that arranger product would be anyway. But not only are you getting what is a beautiful product, you're getting all the Roland sounds, you're getting all the Roland expansions, that come included. You also get the ability to add more sounds through the Roland cloud as well, as well as what you've got with your module, whatever that might be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Glad you mentioned that, because that's really good. And then, of course, we've got all the standard line outs and everything else on the back.
So balanced XLR output. So if you are playing in a venue, it means you don't need a DI box, which is always handy. Main output and a sub output. So again, another thing perhaps could be maybe, some people are into like rotary speaker pedals or something like that, or if you've got a particular kind of thing, or you want to send, maybe you've got a real Leslie and you want to use that, So you could say take the organ section, have that going out with a sub output, and the rest of it go into the regular PA, which is quite good. We also have then a line input and also a microphone input for talkback on stage, or if you need to talk to the audience in between songs or something, we can have a microphone input in it as well, which is pretty handy.
Love it. Right then, well there you go. That was our first look at V-Stage. So thanks so much to Andy coming all this way from just down the road to come and show us the V-Stage. Don't forget, we're going to have a playlist that goes live on our channel with all the different features, because one thing that we haven't talked about, which we'll save for the video, is we've talked about each of these different areas, whether it be organ, piano, electric piano or synthesizer, and you can select presets. It's not all you can do, because there's some really cool editing that you can do in each one of those. So maybe that's something we can look at in one of the other videos that we do. So for now, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, check us out on scan.co.uk. And for now, I'm Adam. This is Andy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.